the co-ed swim meet with the Hagerstown Tigers at Connersville High School's natatorium. It's the TV3 Game of the Week. Welcome to Connersville High School's natatorium and tonight's co-ed swim meet between the Spartans and from Hagerstown High School, the Tigers. This is Fran Schulman welcoming you to this TV3 event. It's the TV3 Game of the Week, and I'm joined by Ron Wiley. And on the diving part of tonight's meet, Ron and I will be joined by Christian Day. Christian, welcome to TV3.
Thank you.
And you're the diving coach at CHS. How have the divers been doing?
They've been doing well, learning lots of new things this year.
Well, early in the season, aren't we?
Yes.
So I know you guys are wanting a lot of improvement before tournament time comes.
Yes, definitely.
That's the aim of the game, isn't it?
Yes.
Okay. Were you a diver when you were in high school?
No, actually, I was a gymnast.
Oh, well, that's pretty close to diving.
Translates
I mean,
it does.
There's stuff, no water, right?
Right,
Ron?
yeah, right, yeah. Yeah.
You land more on your head than on your feet.
That's right, yeah. That may be kind of confusing for the gymnast in you to be able to do that, but hey.
Yes.
How many years were you a gymnast?
15.
Oh, wow, that's good. You've got a lot of experience.
Yes.
What's the hardest thing for a gymnast to do?
Depends on the event.
Oh, well, I suppose that's a pretty good answer. I thought maybe you were going to say putting a powder on my hands or something as you get ready to go. It's a lot of fun, though, isn't it?
It is.
It is, right. Did you go to college?
I did. I'm actually still in college right now.
Oh, okay. You're a college gal.
Yep.
Are you a gymnast at college?
No.
No.
I gave that up years ago.
Where do you go to school?
I'm at the University of Cincinnati right now.
Oh, great. Oh, UC's got a pretty good basketball team.
Mm-hmm.
It had a pretty good football team.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, you ought to be proud of UC.
Yeah. I like it so far. So.
What year are you in?
I am my last year of my master's.
Oh, wow. Okay. Sounds good. Sounds good. And what do you permanently hope to do?
Right now I'm teaching special education and I love it.
Oh, wow.
Good for you. Right here at CHS.
I'm at Maplewood, actually.
Oh, Maplewood. Okay,
yep.
Good. Very good.
That's a great career. Great career. Okay, we're getting for diving. You got to walk us through this thing. Ron and I aren't really experienced at this swimming thing here.
Right.
So,
Okay.
Are we, Ron?
No, not at all. I mean, I know how to float.
Yeah, there you go.
My body mass.
Okay, so the divers are, see if we're right here, they're required to perform a specific number of diving event. Is that what it is? And
Yeah, they have to complete 6 dives from different categories. There's twisting, forward, backward, reverse, and inward diving.
Okay, sounds
Inward diving seems like that'd be the scariest.
Inward?
Yeah,
It's the most fun, I think.
It is,
I
because
think
you're diving into the board, right?
Yeah, I think reverse is more scary
More
than
scary
because
okay.
you're going forward but flipping backwards, so you have no idea where you're at compared to the board.
Yeah, that's true. I mean, not that I would know. I mean, I just remember as a kid, I like to high dive and setting on it and diving. That was about my trick. I can do a back dive, on the low dive, but other than that, I can do a front flip. It looked kind of nasty, but hey, I could do that. That's about it for me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, well, we should be going here shortly. I'm not sure what the delay is. Do you have any idea what's going on, Christian?
I am not sure.
Well, Grady's not in place. He's over there walking. That's probably what's happening
the
right
news
there.
guy. We're waiting on the news.
Yeah, we're
the
waiting
news
on
people
him
to
to
get
get
here.
going.
Right. They have to be here.
You talked about gymnasts. Obviously, you have to do a lot of the same flips and twists and turns that you did as a gymnast.
Right.
Have you talked to any of your diving team to, hey, why don't you get into gymnastics?
I haven't, only because twisting, you twist a little different in diving than you do in gymnastics. There are different techniques to twisting. So,
okay, well.
Gymnastics twisting will definitely work for diving,
Right.
but it'll only take you so far.
Oh, okay.
So.
Okay, yeah. Get the foundation, I guess.
Yes.
Okay, yeah.
Okay, scoring will have 3 judges. Is that right in diving?
Yes.
Three fellows or judges. Can be a gal too, I guess.
Yes.
And they have cards they hold up, and the numbers range from what to what?
0 to 10.
Okay. 10 is the best?
Yes.
Okay. Will we see any 10s, you think, tonight?
Probably not. But
That's a hard to achieve, I'll bet.
oh, yes.
Yes, very difficult, very difficult. Okay, well, waiting for people to get in place here. The water is calm in the pool, so I'm not sure what the delay is.
Well, you remember back in the 80s, well, you were not born yet back in the 80s.
Yes, I was.
Probably late 80s. We're talking
Yes.
84. We were in the Olympics. Greg Louganis was a dominant swimmer. I'm sure, that's something that in the swimming community, in the diving community, he's the greatest of all time. And I remember watching him, and there was one Olympics, I think it was in 84, may have been in Seoul in 88, when he did, kind of a back dive. Mm-hmm. May have been inward because he jumped out and then went back and he hit his head. And of course he got docked for that, but then he got stitched up and came back and won the Olympics on that. Have you guys had any injuries like that?
I have not seen any injuries like that. But I have seen a few kids like clip their heels or something on the board, but never their head or their face or anything like that.
Really good, really good.
Well, there must be a delay of some kind, so why don't we take this break here on TV3, and we'll be back as soon as they get the divers on board. Okay, the divers are in place, the judges are in place, and Christian Day, what's this young lady about to do?
She's about to do a forward front somersault with a half twist.
And her score will be, can you predict here before they lift the
I'm going to say a 3.
A 3. Now, what would she have to work on?
She would need to work on getting her hands down and then actually completing
the twist before she gets in it.
Before she enters water.
I didn't see what the score was.
3-4-4.
3-4-4. Oh, so close.
Yeah.
You were kind of hard on her compared to
I've seen her do a lot better than that.
Right.
So.
Okay. Yeah.
Okay, this is some kind of a back dive of some kind.
She's
Christian?
doing a back somersault with a half twist.
Oh.
That wasn't half bad.
Mm-hmm.
So there's a half twist, and the full twist she would have been facing the other way.
She'd be facing the board. Yeah.
Okay. Well, don't they normally put that? I've not seen it.
They're doing it electronically.
Oh.
Yes, the new scoreboard is on the.
Oh.
They're doing it by computer apparently.
Yeah.
Right, they used to hold cards up.
Yeah.
We did on Tuesday, so this is new to
brand new.
Okay.
There we go.
This is a Connersville girl?
Yes, she's doing a forward one with a half twist.
And who is that?
This is Emily Price.
Okay.
Now she got not the actually I thought it said a 2.5.
No.
When they have a lot of splash, that's not good.
It's not good. You want more height off the board. You don't want to. It's not about how far out you can go. You want height, and you want to stay fairly close to the board.
Oh wow, okay.
Who is this fellow?
This is Quentin Jones.
And he's Connersville.
Yes.
Okay.
He's doing a back somersault with a half twist.
Is he a freshman?
He's a sophomore.
Sophomore, okay.
Well, he got some height.
That was nice height off the board. He just over-rotated just a hair.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what got a lot of splash,
Yeah.
correct?
Mm-hmm.
Do they know when they get, obviously they've probably been diving enough where they know, I kind of overturned it a little bit.
Yeah, you definitely know in the air.
Now, have you gotten on there and did some dives utilizing your gymnast skills?
I coached a couple years ago, and I used to get on the board and dive with him.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Who's this young lady?
This is Brianna Harris.
Okay. Is she one of the seniors on this quad?
No.
Isn't she?
She didn't look happy at all. She came out of the water.
She piped down on that one, so it caused her to over-rotate.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, talk about that. Do they know as you if you see her coming? Oh, but yeah, she looked like she wasn't happy coming out of the water. Of course, the adjustments you make in your head.
Yeah.
You know, you make those adjustments in your head. It's now we got to make the adjustments when we actually dive.
This is
Jennifer Geis.
okay.
And she's doing a forward somersault. Oh, sorry. My bad. Forward dive.
Is that? Did she mess up? Is that right?
No.
Oh.
I misheard her. She's supposed to do a forward dive.
And now, in wrestling terms, we'd call that a frog splash off the top rope where she touched. So, was that by design?
Not sure. She is supposed to tuck, grab her knees, and then dive out.
Oh, dive out. Okay.
Yeah.
This is a Hagerstown girl?
Yes.
Okay.
That's pretty good
That
coming
was
out.
good.
And when you talked about your hands down earlier with one of our girls, she had her hands down. It looked like she was, perpendicular to her body.
That's what you want when you're going in feet first. The only time your hands need to be up is going in head first.
When you talk about feet first, in the Olympics, when, college level and higher in the Olympics, you don't ever hardly see them do any feet first dives, even at the high platforms.
You won't.
Yeah.
It's more about the actual dive than anything. And that was good. That was probably the best one I've ever seen her do.
Okay, and what was that dive?
That was a forward dive in the tuck position.
Okay.
And honestly, in college and the Olympics, I don't even know that you're allowed to enter feet first in the water.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
I'm not sure, but I don't think you are.
Well, she got 3 4s on that drive.
Yeah.
That was
dive,
good.
So.
And obviously, some of it's weighted scores correctly as far as degree of difficulty. If you have a more degree of difficulty,
Yes.
that was
That
good.
was beautiful.
Wow. That was some height, and little splash too.
So the Spartans just have one boy swimmer, or diver, I mean?
Yes.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, that's very little splash, and he got some very good scores. Do they take the combination of all the scores for the individual winner, and then the combination of team scores to determine the winner of the diving?
So the individual scores are tallied by, they take the scores they get from the judges and multiply that by their degree of difficulty, and then add all those together, and then that's their score.
That was a pretty huge degree of difficulty for that last guy. Oh, that. You got to be feeling a little bit better about that one.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was quite a bit better than her first one.
Yes. We just got to work on her not throwing her head back.
Okay.
Because it seemed like she went in pretty well. I was surprised at how much splash she had.
So, because she didn't keep her chest up, it caused her to
Arch back a little.
Yeah, she arched
Yeah.
back,
Yeah.
so it caused her not to rotate enough.
Okay.
So.
She had 2 4s and a 3.5.
That was nice.
Oh, very nice.
Yeah.
And that was what kind of a?
That was a forward somersault.
She went in feet first.
Yes.
I got all 5s.
So Nicetown just has one girl diver, is that right?
Yes.
And we have one boy.
Yes.
And then Connersville has 3 girl divers.
Yes.
Okay.
So how does Hagerstown win the team event? If she gets the first place,
No, they don't qualify for a team.
Oh, okay. Now, she came off to the side a whole lot more on that. Well, she still got some pretty decent scores, but if you're off that far, do they deduct?
Yes.
5, a 4, and a 3.5 is what
Yeah, a
she
little bit of a
received.
discrepancy in.
This young lady is
Emily Price.
okay.
And she is doing a forward somersault. That was pretty good.
I thought so.
On a forward somersault, do you want them out that far, or would you rather them be a little bit closer?
No, you want to, with every dive, you want to be close to the board.
Okay.
4.5 and 2 forwards. It's Connorsville's diver again.
What's the highest degree of difficulty?
I'm honestly not sure. I've never really looked because I don't have kids that can do those.
That was very good.
Beautiful.
Yeah, that was.
And what kind of a dive was that?
That was just a back dive in the pike position.
Okay. Oh,
Yeah,
8.
he went in there. He went in
2, 6
there
and a
very
half.
good. Well, we know who's in the lead.
Yes.
Yeah. I mean that was really. And what grade is he at? What class?
Sophomore.
Yeah, he's got a good future.
The best score of the night so far.
Yeah.
Yes.
You know, she got out there a lot farther than I thought she would, but
She just needs to wait on the board longer. You want to wait as long as possible to get off the board.
I would be doing this. I'd be afraid to hit the board, you know. And I mean, she went in there. You know, so her scores have improved after that. Again, once that gets in your mind, you know, I had a bad dive or anything you want to do.
That was good.
Yeah, it seems like the kids are improving. Even the Hagerstown girls seem like they're getting better as their dives seem to be getting a little bit more difficult.
What kind of a dive was that?
That was a back somersault.
Okay.
And I know she kind of tightened or loosened. I didn't know which one she did, but she messed with the little
The
turn
fulcrum?
thing. Yeah, is that what it's called?
Yeah.
It balances the board, I guess. Is that what it does?
It adjusts the bounce in the board.
Okay.
So it'll make the board stiffer, make it more bouncy.
2 5s and a 5.5.
Emily's fourth dive, 201, back dive, degree of difficulty 1.7, back dive.
Now, do you pick their dives or do they pick them?
With Quentin, I let Quentin pick his because he knows his body and how he is adjusting to the board at the time. So I let Quentin pick his, and the girls, I pick theirs.
That was not a high dive.
No,
Well, it should have been.
she just learned how to do this one the other night, so we're
Okay.
still working on this one.
Work in progress.
And you want her to get more spring, obviously.
Yes, I want her to go. I want her to have more height off
Yeah.
the board. Yeah.
Yeah. Now, if she were in a back dive or whatever, or the back stroke, it would be nice that
There
one.
you go. Yeah.
Yeah. Now that was different from the other one, it looked like, but he sort of kind of over-rotated a little bit on that one.
Yeah, his entry, he over-rotated just a little, but he had nice height off the board. Nice toe point, nice knees.
Now, does he have the most experience? Is that why you let him pick?
Yeah.
2 7s and a 7.5 on that one from the judges.
Where does he rank in the conference?
I don't know. This is my first year with Quentin.
Oh, wow. Yeah.
Yeah.
So I'm putting you on the spot.
I know.
That's okay. You should be on my show.
I know he missed regionals last year by like a point or something.
wow.
So,
And that could be as much as just an over-rotation here or there. And
yep.
That dive was a 5, a 5.5, and a 4.5. Each diver does 6 dives, did you tell us?
6 dives,
6.
yes.
Okay.
Well, that was very
nice.
good. Yeah.
She had a very nice entry into the water.
And who was that?
That's Hagerstown.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, that was like a 1.5.
Yes.
Emily Smith dive, number 302, reverse, 1 somersault, degree of difficulty, 1.6, reverse, 1 somersault.
That's not bad.
Score 1/2, 4, 5.
Now, do any of your kids, do they swim during the regular meet?
All 3 of them swim.
Okay.
Inward dive, degree of difficulty, 1.5, inward dive.
What was the name of that dive?
That was an inward dive in the pike position.
6 1/2.
6.5.
So that may have been his lowest score.
This evening, Jennifer's final dive will be 4:01. Inward dive, degree of difficulty, 1.4, inward dive.
That was good.
What's the practice schedule for your kids?
We practice Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, 5:45 in the morning to 7.
Oh,
And
that's
then-
almost rude.
I know. And then Tuesdays and Thursdays we practice after school until 5:30.
And Tuesdays and Thursdays?
Yeah.
What do they do for like an hour and a half before school?
Most of the time they get ready. So
Oh, yeah. I'd be wanting to take a nap, I guess.
Yeah.
You know, God bless the parents for some of the kids who don't drive to get up that early to get them here. Wow.
I know.
Final dive, 4:01, inward dive, degree of difficulty,
That's a Daryl decision.
Yeah.
inward dive.
Well, he obviously was a swim parent, so he
Yes, he
knows
knows.
it, yeah.
He knows.
So, Conrad, who is this girl again, please?
Emily Price.
Okay. They don't have numbers on them, so we're not sure who they are.
That was one of the better ones I've seen her do. That was good.
Mm-hmm.
Women's final dive tonight will be dive 52-31, back, 1.5 somersault with a half twist, degree of difficulty 2.1, the back, 1.5
Oh, 2.1 difficulty.
half twist.
He's going to do a back 1.5 somersault with a half twist.
Wow. Wow.
That was good.
Yeah, that was very good.
6, 6, and 1.
I'm surprised he just got a 6 and a 7 and a 6 out of that one. He got an 8 out of 1. I figured that would be close.
So that
Especially at
deserved an A too?
2.1. Yeah, 2.1 degree difficulty.
Does that take care of the swimming?
The diving, yeah, clearly
The
that guy
diving,
was the winner.
Right. You think he was a winner?
Oh, yeah, I would. Yeah, I don't think there's any. But you know, the one thing I'm impressed with your kids, and even the Hagerstown girl, they got better. They seem to have gotten better, and you know that's all you can ask for as a coach.
Yeah. I think at the beginning it's a complete head game.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Oh.
Well, that one of your girls who came out of the water, you could tell she was not happy with that dive, and she corrected them. I mean, she made better dives after that, and obviously the kids are always looking for that perfect dive, and that's what keeps them going. So yeah, it was very, very nice to see these kids very impressed with the young man. diver. He definitely has a bright future as only a sophomore. That's got to make you happy.
Oh, yes, definitely. I think he's going to do well this year.
Yeah.
Well, that concludes the diving part of tonight's event. And Christian, we want to thank you for joining us, and we really appreciate it.
Oh, thank you for having me.
Thank you
Christian
so much.
Day
Great.
helped us and on the diving and did a great job, Ron.
Absolutely. She, she's the expert and I'm not. Or we're not.
That's for sure, right. Okay, as we said, that concludes the diving portion, and right after this break on the TV3 Game of the Week, we'll be back at the CHS Natatorium for the swimming event as the Spartans host Hagerstown. Hagerstown and the Spartans, we're about ready to begin on the first event of tonight, and we welcome Kelly Drew now to join us and keep us on track here during this event. Kelly, are you an assistant volunteer coach?
This year I haven't put in much time with the team. I have in the past, just work schedule. I haven't really allowed myself to become too familiar with this team other than just from a generalized swimming standpoint.
It's a young, we got 4 seniors. I think 4 seniors, so on the boys' side, I think there are like 12 senior girls or something like that.
Yes, we have a pretty good sized senior class this year, so we're going to be losing a lot of experience and a lot of leadership.
Okay, what's the first event, Kelly?
The first event will be the 200-yard medley relay. I believe the girls have already been introduced and called up.
Okay, it's the girls ready to go here.
Looks like in lane 2 we have Hagerstown. In lane 3 we have Connorsville, which will be Carrie Cooley, Morgan Kefeber, Grace Newman, and Caroline Poe. Lane 4 is Hagerstown. Lane 5 is Connorsville, which will be Jennifer Geis, Emily Price, Maddie Powell, Avery Webb. And in lane 6 is Hagerstown.
Okay, so this was what, about a couple of minutes or so?
Yes, we should be a little over 2 minutes to about 2.5 minutes. This will be an 8-lap race. As you can see, each swimmer will be swimming a different stroke. In the water now are the backstrokers.
Okay.
They will be coming into the wall and exchanging into, there we go. We'll be swimming the breaststroke will be coming in. The breaststrokers are going in the water now.
Wow, our breaststroker really picked up some length.
Yes.
Really closed the gap quickly.
Yeah, out in lane 3, that would be Morgan Kefeber. She's a freshman this year, but she's from a long lineage of breaststrokers. 2 older brothers, Stephen and Peyton, that have swum for many years.
Yes.
All breaststrokers. Runs in the family.
I guess so.
Tight race right now. Hagerstown 1, Connorsville 2, and Hagerstown in 3. Going into the water for Connorsville in lane 3 is Grace Newman. Looking strong in the butterfly.
Yeah, she's looking really good. The Hagerstown girls holding her off though, but.
Yes. Oh, Grace had a nice turn there, picked up some ground on her. She puts her head down and keeps swimming pretty strong. She should catch up.
Oh yeah, she's definitely catching up. I mean, she looks a lot smoother.
Yes, a little more strength there for us. Going in the water will be senior Caroline Poe.
Looks like she didn't dive very well to get.
Yeah, had a little delayed relay start there.
The leaders on the last lap now coming up.
Yes, this is the last swimmer.
Okay.
Swimming freestyle.
That looks like Hagerstown is going to finish first on this, and
Caroline coming in strong there for a nice second place finish. Looks like Hagerstown will be finishing second, or in lane 2 will be finishing third.
so now does Hagerstown get more points with because they have 3 teams, we had 2.
You can only score so many. The top, I believe, 3 in relays score.
Okay.
So in that case, yes, they did score because they took first and third.
Yeah. And that's a new scoreboard they got this year, Kelly. And, obviously we saw something different with the diving with the electronic scoring. Gotta like it. It looks nice.
Absolutely. We're in great need of a new scoreboard, and with a lot of work and fundraising and quite a bit of local patrons, both personal and business, we were able to accomplish getting that new scoreboard.
Very nice.
Yeah.
I was hoping they'd put it on the other side of the wall.
I know, it's very difficult for us to see,
Yeah, they
isn't
can
it?
move the flag where that's at, you know.
Yeah, fortunately, the size that it is nice to see, but not able to put it where it has been in the past.
Okay, these are the boys in the 200-yard medley relay. Is that right?
Yes, it is. And out in lane 3 is backstroker Hutton Getz for Connorsville, and in lane 5 is backstroker Nathan Shaw. Looks like in lane 2 we've got freshman Skylar Cavan swimming breaststroke, and in lane 5 is Seth Spurlock. Both very strong breaststrokers. Skylar as a freshman brings a lot of experience onto this team. He has swum the CAS program for quite a few years and has been extremely successful.
Yeah, we're losing a lot of kids, but it sounds like we got a lot of kids coming up.
We do. The feeder program, it looks good. Quentin Jones going in lane 3. He just came from the diving board as a diver.
But he won that clearly.
Yes, he has a really nice, strong butterfly as well. We're pretty fortunate to seem to have a lot of divers who are willing to get into the pool and help us out with some swimming events as well.
Yeah, he did a very good job there. This team is very, very schooled.
Yes. Warren Toole out in lane 3 going in for the freestyle leg, the last leg of this race.
Warren, of course, a Spartan football player from this year, Fran.
Right.
Yeah, that's a name that you're familiar with.
Familiar with them, yeah.
Spartans have quite a lead, don't they?
Yes, they do. They do. A significant, probably about a 12.5-yard lead there.
The finisher, number 1, is already there, and here comes number 2 finally.
Yeah, Hagerstown, and then in lane 5 for Connorsville is Kyle Downward finishing up for our B relay.
Good.
Yeah. Those were some nice times for those kids.
Yeah, very nice.
Yeah, this is our only second meet of the season, so we're pretty young and fresh at this point still, kind of just learning who's going to do what and how they're going to perform this year. So it's pretty early in the season.
The 200-yard freestyle is next.
Yes, and then in lane 1, looks like Haley Honecker from Connorsville. Lane 3, Riley Loper from Connorsville. And in lane 5 is Carrie Cooley from Connorsville.
And this will probably take a couple of minutes, a little bit over maybe?
Yes, anywhere from 2.5, 3 minutes, depending on the quality of the swimmers.
Well, Riley has a 2:14. I mean, that's pretty good.
Yeah, and I don't know if that's a time from this year. I believe it is. It's a current time. Sometimes they're listed as season best, and sometimes they're career best. But she's going to take this event out pretty quick. You'll see her open up a lead as she has. Yes. She's very strong in this event. Looks like Carrie Cooley's hanging on there with the Hagerstown girls. This is an event that they typically will swim the first 2 to 4 laps together, and you'll see it open up after that.
Yeah, she opened up pretty quickly.
Fatigue starts to set in for some. It's a bit of a pace for some kids. Some kids is more of a sprint. Depends on how your experience and how you swim it. Nice turn there for Riley. She's kind of settled into her tempo. You can see the length of her stroke, how she kind of gets distance per stroke.
Yeah, I mean, she looks the same. I mean, it looks like she hasn't gotten tired at all.
No, that's her conditioning and her experience, not only in swimming, but in this particular event. This is a difficult event to swim because it is 8 laps, and if you're swimming it correctly, it's somewhat of a sprint all 8 laps. And so you have to be able to keep up that pace. You have to know what pace you can keep up, and it's normally divided into, mentally you divide the race into 50s. So it would be 450s, and the one that really hurts the worst is that third 50. And you kind of have to mentally be prepared for that and know to swim through that really difficult 50, and then you just bring it home the last one.
Is that the third 50 where you're trying to build your lead?
Yes, you can make or break an event. Here comes Carrie Cooley, really struggling to hang on to that second place finish.
Yeah, this is really tough right here.
You can see, the tempo pickup, the kick.
And it's going to be close. Looks like she's going to be
just out touch.
A little bit, Very, very nice. Did not give up at all.
Yeah, looked like Paige Stewart from Hagerstown in lane 4 just put her head down and just out-touched Carrie out of lane 5.
Well, amazing, winning by almost 9 seconds exactly.
Yes.
It's amazing how well she didn't look like you talked about that third 50. I guess she knew she had to lead in the beginning.
Yes, and sometimes, that is really difficult to be out in front in a race like that and not really have much competition to just kind of compete against yourself and mentally stay strong and keep pushing as hard as you can. Haley Honecker out of lane 1 for Connorsville, finishing up nice and strong. Good swim for Haley.
Okay, the boys next on the 200-yard freestyle.
In lane 1 from Connorsville, we have Ethan Jennings. In lane 3 from Connorsville, Kyle Downard. And in lane 5 from Connorsville, Hutton Guts.
Okay, here we go.
This should be an interesting race again. These 3 are all very experienced in this event, and I think that they're going to probably find themselves duking it out for the majority of the season.
It's amazing looking at the scores or the seed times here. Riley would beat the boys.
Yeah, you see that, and you know what? A lot of times at this time in the year that happens, and then somehow by the end of the season, the boys seem to always pull it out and be faster than the girls. Come sectional time, you hope for them to see that kind of time drop.
The Getz boy has the lead right now for the Spartans.
It's Hutton Getz out of lane 5, looking pretty strong.
Yes.
Had a nice split, taking that out in 29.08, so he's under the 30-second barrier there for his first 50. Kyle right on his heels. Both of those swimmers looking pretty strong, but trailing the Hagerstown swimmer, Tyler Wilson out of lane 4.
Yeah, I keep forgetting they don't have that divider for lane 2 and 1. I thought, wait a minute, he's in 4, but he's actually in 2.
Yes.
Yeah, they don't have the divider, but he's got a whole big lane to himself over there in 1. And we talked about this last year, Kelly, and it's worth bringing up again. The middle part of the pool is the best place to be, and why?
It is, and that's because you can see not only are the lane lines that divide the swimmers, they're there for that division, but they're also there and created the way that they are made to what we call eat the waves. So you can only imagine that as you go on the outside lanes, those waves that are created by the swimmers in the inside of the pool, they funnel out to the outside, they hit the wall, the outside wall, and they ricochet back in. So that's why you see the outside of the pool being lined with a lane rope. Also, over in lane 1, I believe that one is not in because it must be broken. That's why we're constantly yelling at these kids to get off the lane line, because they're very expensive and they break very easily. And then you have the kids struggling with the lane. Right. Here comes Kyle, has snuck back in on Hutton out of lane 3. He's going to finish pretty strong and just out-touch Hut there. Kyle finishing strong.
So Connorsville has...
and you can see there Kyle split with the 39 and Hut split with a 40, so you can break down your swim that way to know that even though Hutton started out ahead of him, his last 50 was stronger, and that's where you can then take that and dissect as a coach. You dissect it and say, look, here's where you've got to pick up your speed.
Right. And how is that just a mental thing? I mean, is something you work on as well? Is it more mental or physical or a combination of both?
A little of both. Sometimes it's endurance. A lot of times it is mental. You have to have a bit of a strategy going in. Up next is the girls 200 IM. Lane 1 is Avery Webb. Lane 3 is Audra Volz, and lane 5 is Morgan Kiefaber. All of 3 of these girls are quite experienced in this event. You're going to see Audra take it out and lead probably from start to finish out of lane 3. She's a senior, and this is one of her premier events. Quite experienced in it. The 200 individual medley, or IM for short, is just that. Medley meaning all 4 strokes. She starts with 2 laps of butterfly. Now she's on her first of 2 laps of backstroke. Then it will be 2 laps of breaststroke and 2 laps of freestyle.
2.5 to 3 minutes would be the time on this one?
Yes.
Something like that?
Very good. Yeah, that would be right in the expected range for these girls. Audra has opened a lead pretty wide in this event, and her best stroke is yet to come. She's definitely a breaststroker, so she should open up her lead even more here. Out of lane 1 is Avery Webb, making the halfway mark in second place.
She seems very smooth. This does seem like a very smooth stroke for her. I mean, just the way that she doesn't keep her head too far down, and it's very consistent.
Yeah, she, like I said, this is by far her best stroke. At the age group level, she has competed at the state meet several times, so she's quite experienced and has put in a lot of time and effort for this stroke.
She's in lane 3.
And they have to remember the sequence if they...
Absolutely. The IM, or the individual medley, has a lot of rules, because yes, you have to swim it in the specific order. The turns are very specific. You can only do certain turns when you're going from the same stroke to the same stroke, and then there's rules when you're switching strokes.
Right.
You know, turn rules when you're switching from one stroke to the next.
Because you go from the butterfly to the backstroke, right? That would seem like that would be kind of a difficult transition to make.
Yes.
And we'll have second place all sewn up as well. Very nice for the Spartans. That's got to feel good as a swimmer to watch. You know, you have 20 seconds to watch everybody.
Yes, it does. It does. That's always a nice little surprise when you can do that. But again, you like to have the competition.
Right.
That's what these kids work hard for, is to have the competition, and that always helps you be able to swim your best, is when someone's helping push you.
Well, sometimes the competition would be with yourself.
Absolutely. Yeah. Absolutely.
And the clock.
And Audra finished that with a 2:33, which is a pretty decent time for her this time of year.
Yeah, that's very good.
Did Spartans finish 1 and 2 on that?
Yes.
They did.
Good.
Avery Webb out of lane 1 finished second.
The boys' turn now on the individual medley, 200 yard.
Out of lane 1, we have Maxwell Crank. Lane 3, Skylar Cavins. And lane 5, Spencer Noah. And again, you have that, you'll see that butterfly to butterfly turn there, that they do what we call an open turn. So it's a 2-handed turn. They don't do a somersault or a flip turn. When you go butterfly and breaststroke, there is no somersault. Freestyle, and then most backstrokers will do a somersault turn.
It just seems like when you do that from the breaststroke to the backstroke, you really got to make sure your breathing's right, because if you go back, you get something up your nose, and that can obviously affect you.
Seeing there, you can see that turn. A backstroke turn is by far the most technical turn. There's very definitely some timing and some skill in it, and like you say, kind of being able to just hit it just right.
Spartans in the lead in lane 3, right?
Yes, that's Skylar Cavins, and this is his premier stroke here, his breaststroke. He should open this up a little bit, his lead a little bit wider. You can see again the length in his stroke.
Yeah, he definitely is pulling away right here, and you're right, it's all about the length.
Yeah, he again, just like Audra, has spent quite a bit of time at some state level meets. He spends a lot of time in summer camps, going to the college camps. So he has quite an extensive knowledge of swimming and this stroke. He's put his time and trained hard.
So we have kids who have they're pretty much stroke specific, as in we talked about Quentin with his butterfly. And then we have kids that are specifically IM, correct?
Yes, and I think most kids, particularly those that do have a background in swimming, they come into the high school level having that experience behind them. They definitely have established what their prominent dominant stroke is. That doesn't mean that they can't swim all of them, but by this time in their career, they've kind of separated where their strengths lie. And a lot of times IMers are breaststrokers because that is the pivotal stroke within that event.
Well, you talked about the third of the 50 of the 200. Well, that's the third stroke, the breaststroke.
Yes.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah, you can, if you're a non-breaststroker when you're swimming the IM, it's just a do or die 2 laps.
Right.
You're praying that you can hang on.
Right.
Because those breaststrokers are coming after you.
Right.
Well, the Spartans win this one, so they should be doing well in the point standings.
Yes, look, appears like Connersville is outnumbering Hagerstown on the boys' team. Maxwell Crank finishing up out of lane 1.
Okay, this is a 50-yard freestyle.
It's the fastest race.
Yeah, this one happens in seconds, doesn't it?
It does. It's a nail biter. Looks like our first heat here is going to be what we would call a junior varsity heat. It looks like it will be all of Hagerstown.
Okay.
Looks like three Hagerstown swimmers.
Okay.
We see this a lot with kids or teams that maybe have kids that are just new to the sport. Maybe, a lot of times a JV heat will be a great opportunity for kids who haven't raced before.
Right. Well, it looked like the Hagerstown girl was adjusting her cap as she was diving in.
Yeah, I think she lost her goggles when she dove in. Which that's kind of that can be a tricky subject because freestyle rules are, because it's freestyle, you can do whatever stroke you want. The only rules are that you have to touch at the wall. You have to touch with a body part. It can be.
Oh wow! So I've always assumed freestyle was the regular. I don't know. What's this stroke called? I always thought this was a freestyle stroke.
It is the freestyle stroke, but it is the freestyle event. So you could swim breaststroke if you wanted.
Wow, I did not know that. And that's in the Olympics as well.
It is, but you're not going to find that.
Right? Yeah. You're not going to have Michael Phelps. Even though he's good at butterfly, he's going to. Well, he's good at everything.
Yes.
So.
And this is going to be heat 2 of the 50-yard freestyle. Looks like Haley Honecker from Connersville in lane 3.
Looks like we're adding a CHS on.
Yes, I'm not sure who that swimmer is for us in lane 5.
Now, does this count towards the total event?
It does.
Oh, wow.
Yes.
Are there 3 heats in this one?
There are 3 heats tonight. So these 2 heats would be the JV heats. Our next heat will be the varsity heat.
Okay.
So these 2 do not score for the varsity.
But the third one.
The third one is the scoring heat. So even if you're designated in heat 1 or heat 2 as a JV swimmer, even if you swim faster than a varsity heat swimmer, it doesn't count. It's considered an exhibition swimmer.
Well, if that happens, we need to get that person on the varsity team. Yeah.
You'll see them swimming in heat 1 the next meet.
Now, if I remember right, and correct me if I'm wrong, your girls excelled at the freestyle, wasn't it? I think one of your girls was a butterfly. What?
We had, our oldest was, Paxton was a backstroker and a freestyler, and Reese, our youngest, was a freestyler in high school. In her senior year, she started swimming some backstroke, and she is swimming backstroke in college now.
Okay, good.
Okay.
In lane 1 from Connersville, we have Brooklyn McClung. In lane 3 is Grace Newman, and in lane 5 is Caroline Poe. This will be a fast and furious 30 seconds here.
The wall makes all the difference.
Yep.
Oh,
You can see in lane 3, Grace Newman, how high her feet are kicking out of the water, that she's
she may lose third.
got lots of leg put in there.
Yeah, she got third.
Got out-touched at the wall. Again, that's a matter of in a 2-lap event, these girls have got to really push their lung capacity and see how far they can go without taking any breaths.
You were talking about
head down and swim.
You were talking about her kicking her legs. Was that not a good technique, having that high out?
Sometimes the higher if she's got too much excess kick, it can be a wasted motion. You need to kind of keep smaller kicks and keep them productive.
Now the boys will do what the girls did, right?
Yes.
We have a guy not diving.
2 laps.
We got a guy not diving off the.
He's going off the side of the pool. Lane 1 is Warren Toole. Lane 3 is Jonah Hensley. And lane 5 is Justin Kidd. Looks like Jonah Hensley out in lane 3 is taking the lead with Justin hot on his heels.
Looks like we got 1 and 2 coming up here.
Yes.
Yep.
Now, that gentleman in lane 6, the Hagerstown kid, he didn't use the diving. He dove off the side. I didn't know that was allowed.
It is.
Well, I guess freestyle.
Yeah, it is freestyle. Yeah, if you're not comfortable on the blocks, you can start off the side. Just as long as you enter the pool after the horn goes off. Looks like Jonah took that first place with a 24:07. That's a pretty nice time for him. I would say he should be happy with that.
Yeah.
Just about at that 23 barrier. That's a good time for him. Justin Kidd was 25.22. Again, that's a pretty nice time for him this time of the year. Those will both be faster come sectional time, with no doubt.
It's time to take a break.
Yes.
We got the 10-minute break.
Yeah, these where these kids will get in and it's kind of the halfway mark. They'll be able to catch their breath and relax. Those that haven't swum will get an opportunity to get in and warm up for the second half. This is where they a lot of times will have the diving. But
Right.
we tend to do the diving
Yes.
at the beginning of the meet. Yes. So,
Kids are excited.
yes, swimming well.
Yeah.
Well, it's halftime, and we'll take a break here on the TV3 game of the week. This swim meet with the Spartans in Hagerstown from Connersville. We'll be right back with the second half of tonight's swim meet. Right now, let's take this break.
Bigfoot or
Play basketball.
boy found.
Welcome back for the second half of tonight's swim meet. Hagerstown at Connersville. Kelly Drew, Ron Wiley joining us for this event. Kelly announced that the boys have the lead over Hagerstown in the first half. The girls are trailing though a little bit.
Yes, we're up quite a large margin for the boys and down 5 for the girls. So we've got a fight on our hand the second half of this meet.
What's this event?
This is the 100-yard butterfly. In lane 1 for Connersville, we have Sarah Kalkoff. Lane 3 from Connersville, Grace Newman. And lane 5 from Connersville, Maddie Powell.
Okay. Wish the Lady Spartans the best here.
Looks like Grace has got a pretty nice solid lead right now. Maddie Powell's in a fight for second place. Nice long underwater there from Maddie. That got her a little bit of an edge over the Hagerstown swimmer in lane 4. Grace coming into the wall for the last lap. Good streamline underwater. And butterfly is quite a technical stroke, but more than anything is probably the one that takes the most physical exertion.
It's most difficult in your opinion?
Yes, I believe so. It's technical, and in order to do it well and do it right, it takes quite a bit of skill.
Well, it looked like the girl came in second place, whereas our girl was taking 2 strokes before she took a breath. The Hagerstown girl was taking 1 breath.
And that's just that's a personal decision and a bit of a strength. The more that you can keep your head down, the better that you are, the easier the stroke is. But of course, you have to get some oxygen, and it's more of a rhythm and a tempo.
Yeah.
So the more experience you have, the more you're going to see someone go like maybe every other.
Right.
And take a breath, sometimes every third. So like you say, you might take 2 strokes, and then on the third one you take a breath.
And I was going to ask that if that was more of an experience thing as well.
It is because in butterfly, as well as the other strokes, anytime that you raise your head or turn your head to take a breath is throwing your body position out of alignment and causing a little bit of drag. So therefore, the more still and the less movement that you can have within your body, the less drag, the faster you go.
Yeah.
But again, it's an oxygen depletion versus oxygen intake issue for a lot of kids as well.
And the boys get ready for this 100-yard butterfly.
Looks like in lane 1 from Connorsville, we'll have Seth Spurlock. Lane 3 from Connorsville, Quentin Jones. And lane 5 from Connorsville, Maxwell Crank.
Just one Hagerstown boy?
Just one entrant in lane 4.
With the barrier that's broken there, the
lane line out of lane,
yes.
Out of lane 1.
Does he have that whole area to swim in? Or?
He does.
Okay.
He does.
I didn't know if they would judge him on, okay, he kind of went a little bit too far.
No. And you can't swim, wouldn't be on top of the water. You would never really find a swimmer going across the lane line, but occasionally underwater you will find someone that kind of gets themselves underneath the lane line.
And that's a judging situation, right, where a judge may see that?
As long as you're not impeding another swimmer, it's not a problem.
But they want to go straight, though, don't you? I mean,
yeah, absolutely.
Isn't that the object?
Absolutely.
Right, yeah.
If you're swimming close to someone else's lane or in their lane, then you're swimming a little bit further distance than your competitors.
Yes.
You always hear with swimming, you always hear about, okay, you've got to have less hair, swimmers shave, everything. And then we got Crank there, doing his no shave November, going there.
Well, again, in the past, I've explained this, that swimming is a very unique sport in the sense that these kids, the goal is to swim tired the entire season.
Yeah, that's amazing to me.
It does. A basketball game, everyone wants to win every game. You expect to be on have your A game, your best performance.
Every game.
Swimming is a completely different beast. You love to have good times. Right. Yes, you love to see good swims. But you'll hear coaches and parents and swimmers say, but they're swimming tired, or that's a good time for this point in the season. And what that means is we just break them down until the end of the season, which would become sectional time. Then we have what we call like a 2-week taper, where we decrease the amount of yardage that they're swimming. The nutrition is amped up, the sleep is amped up, so that then they repair all of those, all of that muscle breakage that we've had for the entire season, and then you swim faster. So you kind of work all season long for one meet at the end of the year. So that plays into the No Shave November. It's okay to be hairy through the season, but come sectional time,
it's got to go.
You shave it down. Yeah.
And again, you always hear that, and new techniques come out. This is going to be a nice race so far.
Yeah, that's Quentin Jones out of lane 3. That's our diver and butterfly specialist. Ooh, dead on at the turn.
Yeah, very.
Yep, if Quentin can just if he can keep his tempo and can stay strong through his strength, get some strength in those turns.
And it looked like Quentin looked right at it.
Yeah, he's starting to kind of shorten up his stroke.
Oh, he sort of.
Yep.
Yeah, there was a.
You can see hit a little bit of the wall. Yeah, see, there he's hitting the lane line a little bit, and that's kind of throwing off his tempo.
Yeah, it looked like he had a problem there. Where, and now could it go back to, hey, when you looked at him, that may have been the problem?
Possibly. Again, it's a tempo stroke.
Yeah, it seemed like he just lost his tempo. Yeah.
Hagerstown boy, the winner, right?
Yes, out of lane 4. Quentin Jones out of lane 3 was second. Seth Spurlock out of lane 1 was third, and fourth was Maxwell Crank out of lane 5.
Yeah. And you talk about the breaking down. Obviously, this is something, okay, you take, here's what I've done wrong. I know that I'm going to get better.
Absolutely. You can, unfortunately, we don't have much for videotaping abilities, but a lot of times, we tell the kids, have your parents videotape as much as possible.
Sure.
Watch yourself.
Right.
Let's break it down. But yeah, I mean, Quentin knows. I guarantee, he's talking to his coach right now, and he knows. That's kind of the first question we ask when you come out of the water is, how did that feel? Talk to me. You tell me what you know, what you felt, what you think you can do better. Then let me tell you what I saw.
Right.
These kids are pretty experienced. They know coming out what they can do to improve on that particular swim.
Yeah. And good news for Daryl, he's a sophomore.
Yes, he's going to be around for a while. And we love those diver-swimmer combos. We've had a lot of those over the years.
Okay, 100-yard freestyle. Girls first.
Looks like this is another exhibition JV heat consisting of all Hagerstown swimmers. Again, you're going to see this when you have a team that's as large as Hagerstown is. They've got to get their girls some swims. So fortunately, the official is allowing us to run a couple JV heats tonight. This will be a 4-lap race as well, all freestyle, all which is being swum freestyle.
Yeah, imagine that.
Well, we don't know any of these girls, so.
Those were some pretty nice times, though.
So now we have one of our girls in this one. So Hagerstown has a huge team.
They really do, and they've been down in the last couple years, so this is great to see that they've got quite a few more swimmers.
And did they have a swim at their high school?
They do have a swimming pool, yes. I know a couple years ago they were in jeopardy of losing their program. So this is great to see that they've they've increased their numbers, and the participation is back to where it needs to be to hopefully keep their program there.
Yes.
I think everything is cyclical, and especially a sport like swimming. Not every high school community has a program like we do at CAST, so we're fortunate.
Of course, Rushville shut down their swimming program, and that's why Jonathan Bittner is joining Daryl Drew in coaching here at CHS.
Yeah, we were fortunate to be able to nab Jonathan. He's got quite a bit of swimming knowledge, so that's really been helpful. We've lost Leah Fishman from last year. She decided to go back to graduate school, so she's no longer with the program. She's in Bowling Green studying for her master's.
Good. Now, Rushville's never had a pool, I understand.
They haven't.
Yes.
They bus their kids. I think from year to year it was a little different. Each year I know that they, at one point, were going to Knightstown.
Yes.
I think they swam some at the Newcastle pool. So, that was a real hardship for them to have to get in a bus and ride an hour every evening
that's
to practice.
hard.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Right.
Especially, because Kristen was telling us about the 5:45 practice instead.
Right.
I mean, that's...
Yeah, unfortunately, that scares some of the athletes walking the halls away from this program.
Or the parents.
Yes,
the parents are probably saying no. But you guys you and Daryl, parents.
Yes.
Yeah, obviously you know that, and you've done that, with your kids through the feeder program to high school. How long has Daryl been coaching now?
Oh my goodness. I don't know. A long time?
We'll accept that.
Yeah, that's a good answer.
I would say at least 15 years, pushing 20 years.
Wow.
Yes.
And did the girls get you involved, or were you guys swimmers yourselves?
I was a swimmer, and Daryl was not a swimmer, and I had no intention necessarily of our children being swimmers, but a friend of theirs was swimming and mentioned it, and Paxton, our oldest, would not let it go. She was in floaties. She couldn't even swim, and she said, no, I want to do this. So away we went.
There you go.
Yep. This will be the varsity heat. Lane 1 from Connorsville, Brooklyn McClung. In lane 3 from Connorsville, Maria Wells. And in lane 5 from Connorsville, Caroline Poe.
Okay.
This will be a 4-lap sprint. All freestyle. You'll see all 6 competitors doing flip turns, no open turns here. And again, this is broken down into 25s, the third 25 being the one that where you really want to push and make sure that you're kind of trying to put some distance in between you and your competitors.
That's coming up right now.
Yeah, we have it in lane 3 as a Spartan.
Nice split with 29.66 with Miss Maria Wells. That's a pretty good split for her.
Yes.
Again, breaking that 30-second barrier. That's going to keep her right around where she wants to be in the last 2 laps.
Yeah, she's doing very well, holding.
Put her head down and finish strong here.
Right, number 3, lane 3.
Very good. Now the girls were down 5, Craig, coming out of the half.
Yes, we were. Looks like Maria finished with a 102.75. That's a nice time for her, particularly this time of year. Those were nice splits, a 29 and a 33. That was a pretty smart race for her. She should be pleased with that time.
Oh, yeah.
And that's one of those events, the 50 free and the 100 freestyle are pretty much the event that everyone wants to swim.
Right.
Okay, now the boys will have just 1 heat, right?
Correct. In lane 1 from Connorsville, we have Nathan Shaw. Lane 3, Justin Kidd. And lane 5, Jonah Hensley.
Well, Hensley started off very well.
Yes, he did.
Yeah, he's just getting stronger and stronger. You can just see in his stroke and in the power in the water.
He's an underclassman, isn't he?
He is, I believe, a sophomore this year.
Mm-hmm. He seems like he's got, using every inch of his body.
That's him right there.
Nice fluid motion.
Making the turn.
25.9 and 26.8 at the split for our first and second swimmers.
Oh, you gotta like that.
Yeah, I'd like to see both of these boys kind of put their heads down and not breathe so often. Again, that's going to give them more distance per stroke. They've got to learn to swim fast with a little bit less oxygen.
Well, yeah, Hensley Hergic, as he started, very nice. And you very seldom see a guy from that far out win that easily.
That is Spartan victory, so they should be extending their lead over Hagerstown, I would think.
That was a very nice finish for Jonah there, and then the extension at the end. And the rule is that we want to see our kids from the flags in on a finish not take any more breaths. You should put your head down and barrel into the finish.
I see.
And he did. Those are nice times for the boys, 53.63 and looks like 56.15.
Which is right around what Justin Kidd was seated as. So he's got to like that, taking a few ticks off.
Yeah, and Justin is, I mean, he's still learning the sport. He started swimming in middle school, so he's got a couple years under his belt, and he's just getting stronger and more comfortable with what it takes. You know, it hurts. In order to swim fast, it really hurts every time. And if it's not hurting, you're not doing it right.
Longest
it
event
hurts me, and I'm not doing it right.
Longest event of the night, right?
Yes, this will be the 500 freestyle. This will be 20 laps from each swimmer.
Take probably 5 to 6 minutes.
Yes.
Girls first.
It might be closer to 7 minutes as well with this heat. In lane 1 from Connorsville, we have Maddie Powell. Lane 3 from Connorsville, Riley Loper. And lane 5 from Connorsville, Carrie Cooley. And Riley was our 200 swimmer. Again, she's taken over that 200 and 500 spot, which is pretty typical of a swimmer. You're going to normally see them swim both of those events. In high school, that's kind of considered the distance length.
In running, you have in the long distance running, you always have a guy that I think they're called the rabbit. They run out ahead. Swimming doesn't have that.
No, they don't. What they do sometimes is just not by design. That's called Katie Ledecky. She's the distance swimmer that's way ahead of everyone at the national level.
Well, she just never gives up the lead.
She doesn't. You'll notice at the end of the other end of the pool, we have swimmers outside of the pool who are assisting the swimmers inside of the pool with lap counters. This is a 20-lap swim, and this helps them
keep track
of their
Now we
laps.
we always talk about the threes, the third lap, the third 50. Is there a third in this swim?
Every swimmer kind of breaks this down a little bit differently, just because it is such a long swim. Some kids they'll just go 50s. They want to click off 50s. They kind of the first 2 50s will be faster than the other 50s, but you kind of break it down and you set that pace and you try and just click off the 50s, kind of right in a set goal that they have. Other kids kind of within that, they know right at the 250 mark, at the halfway mark, I'm going to, little things. Maybe it's I'm going to up my arm tempo. I'm going to speed up my kick. I'm going to attack my turns. You kind of start pressing for a little bit more. You kind of have to have a game plan when you're a distance swimmer, or you should go in with some sort of a mindset. You can't just go out and swim it.
With the ultimate goal to win, but the ultimate goal, other than that, is to not lose endurance. I would imagine that would go without saying, but you got these long races, and especially when she's got such a long lead. And you talk about earlier about having competitors. Now it's just now the only competitor's herself.
In a short race like 100 freestyle that we just watched, it's just an all-out sprint, and there's no time to really think about much. You have your game plan, and you just hope that you can execute it, which is typically just an all-out 4-lap sprint. In this, there's plenty of time to be mentally distracted. Each swimmer may have a different take on how they're going to swim this, but it very much is you have to swim your own race. You can be distracted buy another swimmer. You can allow another swimmer that you have maybe a very comparable time, but maybe they're a front half swimmer and you're a back half swimmer. But if you try to take it out too quickly with them, it will ruin your race.
Right.
So you have to be very patient and very self-disciplined to be able to swim your race and swim it the way you want to.
It just seems like in these races, there's not too many photo finishes. There's not too many.
At the high school level in our communities, no, but you would be shocked the number of 500s, and we see thousands, in USA Swimming or age group swimming, they swim 1,000s or they swim 1,500s or the mile. You would be shocked how many of those races are literally stroke per stroke is a race for the entire length.
That's awesome.
And those are exciting,
Right. Well, and again, because these are one of those races where, geez, our girl has lapped everybody.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And how do we keep the attention? Okay, I got 3 more minutes. I may flip the channel and come. You know what I mean? When you have those competitive races, that keeps you glued to the tube.
It does. And we talked earlier, maybe in a 200 when it's such a short distance, but you're out in front, it's hard to continue to push to sprint.
Right.
But when I say earlier that it's very important to swim your own race, it kind of allows these distance swimmers, even though we've just in this pool tonight, you see it all spread out. You've got our first swimmer getting ready to lap, another swimmer.
Right.
If you're swimming your own race, you're swimming against yourself every time, no matter what.
Yeah.
So whether you're out in front or whether you're behind, you kind of have to swim your own race, but still be aware of where people are to start. We use the term start picking people off. You can kind of say, okay, now if I'm going to pick up my kick, I'm going to up my tempo. You can start picking some competitors off, and you can literally watch kids do that.
Oh, wow.
The intent is, okay, this 50 I've picked up this amount of time, and this is where you break it down to splits. And if you can watch on the scoreboard, you sit and you watch. Oh, that swimmer just went 2/10 faster than that one. They went a half a second faster than that competitor. So you can watch the numbers start to get closer and closer, and because they swam their race.
Third lane is on her last one, and she again is for the Spartans.
Riley Loper.
Okay.
Looking strong. Look at her finish with a nice high kick.
When she started her last 50, Daryl was pointing at his watch, and so I'm sure she saw that to know, hey,
she's finished.
Yeah, she's way ahead.
She's lapped a couple competitors. But again, swam her own race. Knew what she had to do. Pretty nice last split for her to 35. 6:06:03. See, that's a time barrier that she's going to want to break, is that 6-minute barrier. She'll definitely get there. That's when you start going, okay, a 6:06. I want to drop below a 6:06. That means, a little more than 1 second each 100.
Yes.
That's a half a second each 50. That's
it can be done,
It's a tactical race.
Yeah, she won by almost 30 seconds. That's amazing.
Carrie Cooley finished in 6:32, looks like.
Wow, just very, very impressive. And it didn't seem like she got tensed up or slowed down or anything. Just kept the same rhythm.
And that's pretty much exactly what we expect of a distance swimmer, is that experience and that rhythm. And they really do. A good distance swimmer will those 50s can be just 10s and 100s off of each other because they train that way. If you're a distance swimmer and you train it, you will do set after set after set of just 50s on. The expectation is you're going to go 35 seconds, 35 seconds, 35 seconds, and they just do it over and over again. And so it's.
They congratulated by one of our coaches. So
that was an impressive performance.
Yeah, she's just getting stronger and stronger, and it's kind of really settled in. I don't think her intentions were to be a distance swimmer when she started.
She is now. She is now.
Okay, 500-yard freestyle boys.
Looks like we have all Connersville competitors. Lane 1 is Ethan Jennings. Lane 3 is Spencer Noah. And lane 5 is Kyle Downard.
So the Spartan will win, it's safe to say.
Hopefully so, barring any DQs.
So the girls 6:06 doesn't necessarily mean that the boys are going to go any less, because as we've seen earlier, some of the girls have been faster than some of the boys.
Absolutely.
And I would probably say that the most experience you have racing this race is probably more than any other race, that this race would probably be determined on the experience.
I could say that would be a true statement. You really have to. I mean, you just can't take a rookie into this race. They can finish, but that doesn't mean that there's any game plan or you know. And we have a lot of kids that is the goal. You are going to swim. Daryl at the middle school level, he tries to get every kid a 500 swim. When you're a swimmer, whether you're a new swimmer, an experienced swimmer, you pretty much know at middle school, if it's at all possible in terms of if we have enough meets and the right number of kids, every kid will swim a 500. Like it or not, you're going to swim a 500. So for some kids,
takes you half an hour.
You are exactly right. But for a lot of swimmers, the goal is finish.
Right.
Sure.
Yeah.
I don't care what it takes. I don't care how long. You're going to finish because you're going to know that you can do it. You can compete it.
That's
so
great.
you start, and a lot of these kids, they started at 6 years old.
Right.
And the age group USA swimming level with saying you're going to complete a 500. So it doesn't matter what your age is or what your experience is. You start with just completion. Right.
And it would take a calendar to clock me. I mean,
you build from there.
But at some point, if I can walk, I would to try to get going. Obviously, not the deep end, but hey, it's freestyle, right? I can do that.
You can do whatever you want. Yeah. You can doggy paddle.
Yeah, that's what I would be doing a lot too. And like I said, hanging over the side for a minute on one of the. Yeah, again, the shape that swimmers have to be in.
It takes quite a bit of endurance. We've had a lot of athletes over the course of our coaching careers that have started swimming and don't finish it because it really is a tough sport. It's just all about endurance.
Mm-hmm. Well, you hear, they're just swimming, but there's so much to it. You work so much of your body. Mm-hmm. That's why I need to get a pool, and so I can have me just a little lap so I can get back into shape. It's unfortunate that we don't have a lot of access to rec pools in this community because swimming is such a great sport for a lifetime because it's equivalent to distance running, but you don't have the wear and tear on the body. Right. And I think from what I've read, and I could be wrong, Kelly, whereas running, obviously you get the more the wear and tear on your body, but swimming, you do work more of your body because you're doing the upper body. You're doing... Yeah, it's a full body workout more so than any other sport. Because you got the resistance with the water. People may not believe that, but there is some resistance in there. Very definitely. There's the resistance of the water. I believe I read somewhere where Michael Phelps said that he eats so many calories, way more, I think double more than what's recommended, but then he burns 3 times that amount. Absolutely. From swimming and working out, and that's why, he can hula hoop with Cheerio. But that's why he's one of the greatest of all time. He is. He is, and yes, you do burn a lot of calories, and you have to eat a lot of calories, but they need to be the right calories. Right calories, right? Yeah, I don't. And we've talked about this every year, Kelly, and I've always been impressed with these kids that no matter what, and I would be the guy that would be swimming last. Fran, of course, would win every time. We know you were Mike Spitz and Michael Phelps before they were.
My name's not Noah Spencer, who's in the lead right now.
Yeah, right. Yeah, he's way in the lead
for Connersville.
But these kids really root each other on.
They do. It's the majority of them have grown up swimming. They've grown up with the sport. They've grown up with each other. Right. The parents, have spent the
getting
time
up at 5:45 to get their kids here. Yeah.
Exactly. And the one of the uniqueness about this sport is that everyone gets to participate. and you can get last every time, but you can still improve. So it's
Sure.
easy to cheer for your teammate, your fellow swimmers, be it on your team or for another team.
Right. Yeah, we've seen that every year. We've always seen, you have one of the kids who obviously this may be their first year swimming, and kids from both teams are rooting that athlete on to finish, and the crowd always appreciates that. There's no shame, and like you said, the goal is to finish, and the goal is to have fun.
Right, and a sport like swimming, because everyone can participate, everyone does get to play, everyone does get their chance for competition. You've got all different levels.
Right.
It's not a team where we're cutting and only the top tier get to participate.
Right.
We don't have a varsity and a JV, so everyone is one team,
That's
no matter
awesome.
how experienced or lack of experience.
Lifetime of memories and lifetime friends are made.
And there's a lot of respect for someone who gets through a season.
Right.
No matter, again, the experience or the skill level.
Right.
Leader's on his final lap.
Spencer Noah coming in to complete his 20 laps. This is an interesting little side note. Over the weekend, a couple weekends ago, we were at a swim meet, a collegiate swim meet that happened to have a team from Canada. And when they were swimming the distance events and they had the lap counters, it threw us for a loop, because in Canada, instead of counting from 1 to 20, they counted from 20 backwards.
Oh, wow.
Backwards.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wait, I'm already done. Wow.
Yeah, so that was interesting. For a second, we were, we were a little confused. Wait a minute.
I would have been that way too. I would have been.
Yeah, so Canadians count backwards on their distance events.
How about that?
Our next event is going to be the 200-yard freestyle relay in lane 3 from Connorsville. We have Newman, Wells, Loper, and Volts. In lane 5 from Connorsville, Kalkoff, Thompson, Honecker, and McClung. This will be all freestyle.
Okay.
2 laps from each swimmer, so it's a sprint freestyle relay. In lane 3, we have our A relay. So that should be the lane that we're looking for to hopefully pull in first place. Grace Newman has pulled ahead for the lead. Maria Wells will be going in next. Grace split with a 29.7. That's a pretty decent time, and she's from a flat start. These other swimmers have the advantage of a rolling start, meaning the swimmer that's in the water just has to fingernails touch the timing pad, and the swimmer coming off the block can already be started and stretched out, just have feet on the blocks.
Spartans in the lead, looks like.
And that's where the official's looking. They're looking to make sure that they got that fingertip.
Correct. And sometimes they do not. They can leave early, and then there's a discrepancy.
As long as part of the body is still on the board.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, you can see there that exchange was a little bit nicer.
Yeah.
Audra was out and over the water a little bit sooner than the other girls.
Yeah, it's that anticipation.
Riley Loper crawling out of the pool for Connorsville with a 28-14 split. That was really nice, especially considering she just finished the 500.
Well, now right there with our girl, she kind of anticipated pretty well on that too.
And it's a timing issue. You kind of get that down once you've worked with your teammates.
Passing the baton.
Yep.
Very nice race, all girls.
.155.13. That's a good time for that team, that foursome. boys 200-yard freestyle relay. In lane 3, we've got Kidd, Getz, Noah, and Hensley. And in lane 5 from Connersville, we have Spurlock, Toole, Jennings, and Downard.
Again, freestyle, they can do any stroke.
They can.
But you never see
They can, but they better not.
Right.
The only time that you really ever see someone pull out a crazy swim doing non-freestyle would be if they're kind of time trialing and want to just get a time for something else. So it doesn't happen very often, but it does.
Now, what do you mean by that time trial? Like they can actually get time trialed for a different stroke during this?
Yes.
Wow.
Not in high school, not in this relay.
Right.
But in an individual event or like in a USA swimming meet event, you might see someone.
So the boys are timed, or the athletes are timed by each they're individually and as a team for a time trial.
They like for their splits here. Is that what you're? And they are the first swimmer because they're from a flat start. Can like if they swim a best time, a personal best time, they get to carry that or they get to claim that because it was from a flat start. Any of the other swimmers, if they swim a personal time, they don't get to claim that because they got the rolling start.
Oh, right, yeah.
So your first swimmer can.
But the other.
Yes, if they break a record, that's their record.
Right.
It counts because it was a legitimate off the block from the start.
Yeah, because this one's like you said, they're rolling, they're anticipating, they're ready to go. And, that was very good. I was kind of afraid he was a little early on that one.
When you see the super safe starts and then you see a nice exchange, it is a little scary. And that was Jonah Hensley again with that nice.
Yeah, very good.
Nice extension over his swimmer. That was a good time for those boys. And they'll just get faster and faster. And, throughout the season, the coaches will play around with the combination of what swimmers, who's going to swim where and who's going to make what relay.
But the chemistry with the boys has to matter as well, as far as knowing, again, it's like passing the baton when they're.
Yeah, there's a certain amount of trust, knowing that you can trust that swimmer's going to keep up their tempo, swim as fast as what they have been, and that they're going to come into the wall, and you can count on that as a swimmer on the blocks, getting off the block quickly and over.
Right.
The next event is the girls 100-yard backstroke. In lane 1 is Jennifer Geis, lane 3 is Maria Wells, and lane 5 is Avery Webb. Lane 6 from Hagerstown. Looks like we just had a false start there.
Just excited. Now she's not disqualified, correct?
It depends on what they find the reasoning for the false start. I believe it was an equipment failure, so she won't be. I don't believe she'll be counted against.
So now they're resetting the scoreboard, it looks like.
Yes. And as you can see, the girls are all in the water. In backstroke, you must start in the water, not on top of the blocks.
The official's telling them somewhere.
Yeah, he's telling them just to relax because you can see that when they were in the start position, each one of them had a hold of the metal bars.
Right.
And if they continue to hang on to that bar, it does make them tired. So he's urging them to just relax so that they're not straining their arms, waiting on the technical error to be fixed. You can see their feet are all set underneath the water. Feet are not allowed to be above the water line. And they have nice, strong underwaters, and that underwater kick, they're allowed to butterfly kick. They're allowed to keep their feet together and kick as a dolphin, and that is definitely the fastest way.
The dolphin?
To kick is the dolphin kick. And they've taken to calling that the 5th stroke because it is so productive, and you will see kids that purposefully stay underwater as long as possible because that's where they are fastest.
But you can't go the whole length, correct?
You cannot. You can go 15 meters, which in this pool, if you can tell, well, right there in this shot, there's the yellow marker on the lane line. That's the 15-meter mark. but it's from the opposite, the far end of the pool.
So it's the far right
marker.
where they just passed that.
Yeah, so she's going into her turn now, and she came up in front of this yellow marker, but she could have stayed under until the other yellow marker, the far yellow marker. Maria Wells out in a commanding lead.
Yeah, she looks very, very smooth. I mean, she's hugged that lane.
Avery Webb in lane 5 in a fight for the finish. If she speeds up her tempo and surges just right.
Oh, wow. That was very close. Yeah, very nice. And again, that's one of those races where you talk about anticipation. You got to know exactly, you know, and I'm sure they practice how many strokes from the flags to the wall.
They do, and they know each backstroker will know they have a stroke count for a turn and a stroke count for a finish. Like right there, she should know right where the wall is and be able to reach for it.
She was no hesitation there. She knew. Very nice, because there's nothing like you see a backstroker who's, you know, not doing that extra stroke because they think, oh, and then it's 3-4 yards, you know, too early.
Very definitely, you need to know. Yeah. You need to know your stroke counts as a backstroker, and they change as you get stronger and more powerful.
Right,
they're ever changing. The boys' 100-yard backstroke is in the water now. In lane 3 from Connorsville, we have Hutton Getz, and in lane 5 from Connorsville, Nathan Shaw. In backstroke, you can watch a good backstroker will keep their head very still, very little movement. No bobbing up and down. Again, the longer that they stay underneath the water and the tighter the streamline position, the faster they are.
Connorsville has the lead, looks like.
Hutton in first place, and Nathan is in third right now.
Now, the difference between our guy in the lead and the Hagerstown guy in second, it seems like our guy has his arms going much faster, although it doesn't seem like he's pulling away like he should. And the Hagerstown guy just slower, more methodical.
And a lot of that has to do with the pull underneath, the amount of water that you're actually catching. So yes, you'll see some swimmers have a high turnover rate, and they're less productive under the water, and some have a low turnover rate, but they are super productive.
Yeah.
A win for the Spartans.
Hutton Getz out of lane 3 in first place, and Nathan Shaw in lane 5 took third place. Hutton finished with a 1:10.68. He'll look to improve on that by the end of the year, just getting stronger and stronger and tweaking a little bit of the stroke here and there.
And here we go talking about someone finishing, and everyone's cheering.
Yeah, lots of good sportsmanship. Hutton was just helped out by out of the pool by a Hagerstown swimmer. You know, that's another downfall of being a swimmer, is when you finish your race, you have to try and gracefully climb out of the pool.
Right. Yeah, I don't know if I could. I would be can they get to go to the ladder? That's right. We're swimming over the ladder.
Up next is the 100-yard breaststroke. In lane 1 from Connorsville, Emily Price. Lane 3 from Connorsville, Audra Volz. And in lane 5 from Connorsville, Morgan Kefeber.
Take a couple of minutes, looks like, something like that.
Yeah, should be about a minute and a half tops. Audra should be hoping to come in at about anywhere from a 1:14 to a 1:15.
Yeah, it seems like there's different styles when it comes to the breaststroke, as far as how long do you keep your head with the water, the stretching out. Is it just personal preference or just style?
Personal preference, but it's also, each kid has kind of their strengths and their weaknesses, so you play to that, as far as like what we were talking with the backstroke. Are you productive under the water? What works best for you? That's something that you and your coach kind of figure out.
Yeah.
And Audra is very productive under the water. She's got nice long turns. She stays under the water with her streamline and her pull out. We work on keeping her tempo up and keeping her hands out in front of her at the front of her stroke. You're always fastest when you're stretched out.
Very nice race. Got about to where, Kelly, where you said she was going to be.
Got a race right here for third place. If we just hit it just right, Morgan, if she stretches out and gets her hands on the wall first.
I couldn't tell. Wow, what a nice. So we got the finish right. It looked like Hagerstown may have got it. Yeah.
Yep.
No, it looks like we got second. Yeah.
I'm not sure.
Well, wait a minute. No, I'm sorry. I looked at that totally wrong. Well, lane 4, yeah.
I'm not sure those times were right, though. That doesn't add up. Boys 100-yard breaststroke. In lane 3 from Connorsville is Skylar Cavins, and in lane 5 from Connorsville is Seth Spurlock. Looks like we have a cap floating in lane 4. Hagerstown swimmer must have lost his cap.
It's not fun.
Skylar's looking pretty strong out in front. And he's a freshman and has a lot of experience, but he's going to be fun to watch over the next 4 years because he's still physically very young.
Yeah.
As he matures and gets a little muscle mass and a little weight to him, he's just going to just really take off, and he's going to do some fun things.
Middle school does a good job in being a feeder program, doesn't it, Kelly?
They do. That's where we catch a lot of new swimmers,
Sure.
kids coming in from all of the other schools, and they've never had the opportunity, to be exposed to a swim program. So we catch a lot of new swimmers.
Sure.
That's why a lot of times I'll say, they're new to the sport. They started at the middle school level, where you have half the team that's done this their entire lives, and the other half are just starting in middle school because this is really their first exposure. They maybe didn't have the opportunities to do that outside of a school-supported sport. Skylar Cavins finished first in a 1:11.6. That's a pretty decent time for him. I'm sure that he's looking to go faster, and he will.
Okay, this is the final event, I believe, coming up of the night, right?
It is.
The
400-yard freestyle relay.
Right. Take a little over 4 minutes, maybe between 4 and 5.
I'd say 4.5, a good 4.5 minutes, give or take.
Girls go first.
Absolutely. In lane 3 from Connorsville, we have Loper, Poe, Wells, Vols. In lane 5 from Connorsville, Cooley, McClung, Powell, and Webb.
Okay, here we go.
And I'm not sure what our score is, but I'm going to guess that these are some pretty important points right here from these Lady Spartans.
Oh, yeah.
To try and pull out some relay points. Got Riley Loper out in front right now. She's just been an all-around utility swimmer for us tonight. But you can just see how powerful she is and just how reliable. You just have kids that, when you put them in the water, they're going to do their job. Right. No matter what happens, no matter what you need them to do, you just count on them and they come through. And Riley has proven to be one of those swimmers for this program over the last 3 years.
Yes.
Again, a huge, huge lead.
Yes. She's about to finish her part of the relay.
Going in second will be Caroline Poe, and a senior captain for this team. Caroline has definitely put her time in to this program over the years.
She a senior, is she?
She is a senior captain this year, yeah.
You see these girls diving in, and it just seems like they don't skim the water like, you always see the elites, they seem like they skim that water.
Yeah. And sometimes they're going a little deeper, but just because they're more comfortable that way. Sometimes it's the relay exchange that gets them a little nervous. Yes, we've opened up quite a commanding lead. This would definitely be helpful for us if our belay could sneak in there and take a second place. I'm sure they're really kind of hoping to count on some of those points, because relay points are more than individual points.
And so whenever you do a relay, you need to have a strong B team.
You do.
100%, yeah.
It certainly helps, particularly when you're needing those points.
Right.
You know, when you know that it's a team that you're going to have a tough time beating. It's like putting a puzzle together, because you have to outguess the other coach. What swimmers are they putting in what positions? You don't just have swimmers that can just specialize. So they might, you know, you try to guess where they're going and you try to neutralize their points that they're going to take.
So if you win, but yet the other team scores second and third, that kind of cancels out your win. Yeah, that's not good. Yeah. Especially when we're fighting for 5 points.
And you can, there's a lot of sharing of results between swim coaches. You know, well, when we swam so-and-so, here's who they had where and how they swam, what their times were. You just don't know.
Right.
Gosh, we have a dogfight on our hands here for second place between lane 4 and 5.
It looks like we've got a little bit.
Avery Webb going to go into the water, hit the water in first place. Nice exchange from Avery. Wow, look at the distance she just put between her and the next girl, but she's coming on strong. This is going to be a fight.
Yeah, we definitely need this.
Now, Avery needs to really step up and have a big swim out of lane 5. This is going to be a massive point score if she could pull this out. She's capable. She's got to stay in there.
It looks like she may have lost it a little bit right there on that turn. It looks like she's kind of.
She's got a lot of extra movement in that head. See, this is where you just find out who's got the grit.
We just got our win right there. Looks like we're going to come in, well, at least a third place. That's, well, a first and a third sort of cancels out their second, but maybe not enough.
Right. You don't know at this point in the meet if what points we needed.
Right.
We'll find out when the final score is tallied.
And you talk about, Kelly, about sharing with other coaches. Obviously, coaches taking consideration at the point in the season as well.
Absolutely. Yeah. I think it's not so much the times that they're swimming. Sometimes it's more about who can swim those events and what times they can go, or what that coach has thought of as far as the kind of lineup that they'll put in. You know, there were times that we've had quite a few utility swimmers over the year. You look today, I said Riley Loper swam the 2 and the 5. She swims that most races, but that doesn't mean that we're not going to throw her in 100 free because we know she can outscore their 100 freestyle.
Right. No, yeah, makes sense.
Sometimes it's a matter of switching. We have to guess what their team is, their lineup is going to look like, and we try to neutralize their point getters. Because it's not a straightforward lineup all the time.
Right. Here we go. Got another guy going off the
side.
Yeah.
In lane 1 from Connersville, we have Noah, Kidd, Cavins, and Hensley. And in lane 5 from Connersville, we have Toole, Crank, Jennings, and Shaw.
Okay, the 400-yard freestyle relay, the boys finally been at the line.
As in the girls' event, we'll see 4 laps from each one of these swimmers. It's a 100 freestyle from each swimmer.
Nice turn from both boys.
Ethan Jennings he'll be in lane 5 here in a few swimmers. He has really been a fun one to watch. He's one of those kids that started late in his career and has just come on strong.
Good.
He a complete body transformation from middle school to high school, and strength-wise has just been incredibly fun to watch. That was Warren Toole and Spencer Noah, our first 2 swimmers, and now is Justin Kidd in lane 3 and Maxwell Crank in lane 5. Both of these guys have not been lifers. They've kind of come on later in the year. I think Maxwell just started in high school. So his progression has been fun to watch. Justin was a middle schooler, but he has put a lot of time in. He's really trained hard and gone to some summer camps on some college campuses and learned a lot on his own. That's really important when the kids kind of take the initiative themselves.
Yeah. You know, if you had to recruit, Kelly, obviously I think the biggest one is the parents, because you got to sell them on it. But what would you tell the parents about the benefits of swimming for their child?
Well, I think first and foremost, from an athletic standpoint, is the fact is, like I mentioned earlier, it doesn't matter how good you are, how experienced you are. You can track your own progression, swim after swim, meet after meet. You can get dead last each and every time, but it doesn't matter. You can mark your improvement. Everyone gets to participate. I think there's a lot of goal setting. There's a lot of discipline. It takes a lot of self-confidence and determination to make it through a swim practice, let alone a swim meet and a swim season.
Right.
You know, I think each one of these kids walk away from swimming a completely better person than they walk into
That's
it.
awesome.
They learn a lot of camaraderie, team bonding.
A community.
It is absolutely a community. You know, at the end of the season, they always have a banquet, and these kids, they're in tears. They don't want to leave. It's, you know, it's a community that they've found and they've built, and they may never find again at this level. So absolutely, you know, and we have the best parents in the world. You know, it takes a lot of commitment to do this with your kid. If they're not driving on their own, to get them.
That's the.
Well, you know, volunteers helping tonight.
You know, we have always said we have such amazing parents. We don't have to beg. We have a meeting at the beginning of the year and we ask for sign-ups, and we never have to ask for, you know, you go to other pools and they're begging for timers. You know, we have other coaches within our high school that say, how do you get such involvement? We ask.
Yeah, you ask.
And they do it.
Sure.
But so many of these have, you know, these are lifelong parents. They've been doing this since their kids were 6 and 7 years old. So it's nothing new. They know it takes a village to raise a swim team.
Well, you know, and it helps that the head coach has done the exact same thing.
You know, and that could be true. I don't know. I guess maybe so. Maybe they look at it that he's been through it all.
Yeah, he's been a parent too. Yeah. And you have too.
That's right.
Yeah, you've had those.
Yep.
You know, it's like, I'm assuming they have practice tomorrow at 5:45.
Tomorrow, Friday, yes.
Wow, that's unbelievable.
Yep. They will. But you know, again, that's what builds the camaraderie.
Right.
You know, and I'll tell you one other thing that I think that as parents and coaches that they should be really proud about these kids. These kids do a lot of service projects. They ring the bell. They serve Thanksgiving dinners. These kids go out in the community and you know, help.
Yeah.
See, here's a classic example, Ron, of what you were talking about.
Obviously these kids at Hagerstown, you know, are not the most schooled swimmers, and this kid's out here getting the cheering. They're rooting him on, and he's loving every minute of it.
You know, and 4 laps for a lot of kids are really tough.
Yeah.
This kid, You know, we talk about doing the doggy paddle, and he's basically doing what we call the doggy paddle because his face is out of the water.
Right.
That stroke right there, I promise you, is 10 times harder than the stroke that these kids were swimming with their face in the water.
Yeah, but he's going.
He just doesn't know it. He hasn't convinced himself of that yet.
And he'll learn that. I mean, obviously with this, we got the girls from the Connersville team. We got the Connersville coaches rooting this kid on. I mean. And why not? Why not keep going?
Yeah,
why not get to
final 25 yards, isn't it?
It gives you cold chills, doesn't it?
It does. It really does. It's, you know, I mean, Connersville kids could be easily, hey, we won already. But no, everybody's watching this kid and rooting him on because everybody knows that lonely feeling out there. We know it.
They do, and you know why?
Yeah. Good job.
Every one of these kids and every one of these parents have watched themselves or their own child suffer through that. They may have been 5 years old, they might be 15, but everyone has experienced that.
That was the biggest pop of the night.
Yes.
Right there.
Absolutely.
You know, and I find it hard pressed if you'd find that any other athletic event.
I tend to agree with you, but I may be a little biased.
Yeah, well, yeah. But that's awesome. Good job for him.
And you know he'll just get better and stronger. I promise you by the end of the year he'll be swimming that faster.
Yep. Yep. And he'll be putting his head down. He'll learn how to do it properly. You know.
Now,
that's the final event. We'll be awaiting the final scoring, and we should have that for you in just a minute. Right now, let's take this break while they figure out the scoring. We'll be back in just a minute. Kelly, a successful night for Connersville.
Absolutely. Looks like on the boys' side of the events, the score was Connersville 122, Hagerstown 48, and the girls' meet, Connersville 99 and Hagerstown 84.
Wow, we were down 5 at the half.
Yes.
We were, and it looks like, I'm going to guess scoring-wise, it definitely did come down to that very last relay. And Coach Drew said at the beginning of this meet that might be exactly what it came down to, and it looks like it did.
Undefeated. Both the boys and girls.
Yes.
That's great.
I think we're 3-0 at this point. That's a good start.
That is awesome.
It really is. Following tonight, the swimmers will be away to Richmond, Centerville, East Central, and Newcastle. They'll not return to CHS until December 14th. They have a diving invitational. The next day, Saturday, December 15th, the Spartans host the swimming invitational. Start time Friday will be 6 p.m. Saturday will be 10:30 a.m. And Kelly and Ron, we wish the people would come out and watch these kids.
Yeah, it's a fun event.
Yeah, it is very fun and exciting. You saw a couple races tonight that just came down to the wire.
Yeah. Very nice. And again, the moment with the Hagerstown kid, you can't find that any other event. That warms your heart.
It does. There's a lot of lessons to be learned in this pool.
Yeah.
Kelly, thanks a million.
Thank you so much for having me, guys.
We'll see you next year.
We'll see about that.
You said that last year.
Kelly Drew helped us there on the swimming, and prior to that, it was a big thank you to Christian Day, who helped us on the diving part of the program. For Ron Wally, this is Fran Schimmel thanking you for joining us here on TV3 for tonight's swimming. Again, a clean sweep for the boys and the girls. And from the Spartan Natatorium, CHS, good night, everybody.